Like the student's dad was probably like jerking and shit. He's going crazy like, I looked at the fucking phone. He's like, wait, this is literally my son's teacher. The apology is
Yeah, I'm
crazy.
sure you've
This
noticed I'm
apology is
wearing the
crazy.
same outfit, same clothes, because it's been over 24 hours since my last shower. I've been busy. What are you gonna do about it? Call the stink police? Get the odor officers out here?
Yo, what's the
I'll
last one?
shower here shortly. Today, we're
Yo,
doing
my
something
Loki
we haven't
24
done in
hours.
a long
Like,
time. We're looking at an apology video. This one I could not resist talking about. It is a shockingly bad apology videos, even when you consider all of the classics we've seen come out over the decade. It's a TikTok creator named Micheal Duvall. To summarize a lot of the lore, just dropping you some tidbits on it,
is
Micheal
it the
Duvall was a
Zahidi
preschool
did the
teacher
trend
who
better?
produced OnlyFans content at the preschool he worked at. You'll hear it come directly from his mouth in a moment, but occasionally he would take nude photos of himself in the bathroom and even
He's
had
a
a
guy
video
though.
of him
How the hell is he doing all this?
masturbating and ejaculating onto the toilet seat, which apparently had like a training seat on it, like for kids to learn how to use the bathroom. It's fucking gross.
I guess let's just start from the very beginning. In 2020 is when I made my
He's part of
OnlyFans.
the
21
LGBT
about
gang.
is when I met my
He's part of the LGBT
ex-fiance
gang.
and we got engaged in 2022 and we also broke up in 2022. But I would say that this whole OnlyFans story starts from when we're still together.
He spends the first like 3 minutes here talking about his previous relationship and how it kind of got him back into doing OnlyFans content. He said it was a bad relationship, a lot of bad things happened, felt like he was being forced to do things on OnlyFans. Eventually the relationship ends, and then all of this stuff with the preschool happens. So to me it really feels like it's kind of not relevant to the matter at hand here, how you got back into the OnlyFans content, when what's actually being discussed here with the preschool stuff was choices you made
Why'd he go
by
back?
yourself way after that horrible relationship ended. So it feels to me kind of like he's mentioning this past relationship as a way of like kind of subtly pushing the blame onto his ex for how things got to where they were. It just doesn't seem like it was a
Like,
good
how come
opener
like
here
Cody
for
Cox
something that's
didn't like
supposed to be about taking accountability, because it feels like he's immediately like avoiding
Kylie
it.
Cox? Like, how come
Like, it
Kylie
really
Cox didn't go
does
back
seem
to the
like he's
OnlyFans
just
comment?
serving up
If
a
Kylie Cox
yappy
didn't go
meal,
to
and we
like if
don't
he
even
did,
get a
like
cool
you see Kylie
Minecraft
Cox,
Steve toy with.
like this is what I mean. We gotta stop like giving these OnlyFans like content creators like you know what I'm saying, like the edge and shit. Like Kylie Cox, like he did it, but like you know what I'm saying, like he stopped, right? Like he learned, and then eventually like he made an apology video and he didn't really go back. But this guy over here, I don't know him, but he went back. If they really are going like, I don't know, is it like for the love of the game? Because I don't really, let's be honest, like you really think that guy's making money off like, you know what I'm saying? How much do you think Kylie Cox made off like that shit? Like I don't really know. Like they really doing it for the love of the game. I think, I don't know. I think he's the love of the game, not really for the bread and shit.
With it.
Now, growing up how I did, it's no shock that I was really excited
Wait, was he
seeing
like a
all this
Kylie Cox? Like,
money that was
what was his player type? Like Kylie Cox? Kylie Cox? Maybe.
coming in. And so I tried really hard. I posted hundreds, if not thousands of times a day in so many Reddit pages, on my OnlyFans, on my Twitter, just stuff like that. And as you know, I was working as a preschool teacher, technically pre-K, pre-kindergarten. And so I had a lot of free time at work where I would post on those apps.
Posting thousands of times per day is unhinged. Not even those rage bait Twitter accounts that drool on that platform day and night trying to engagement farm for $15 at the end of the week get that many posts per day. That is a crazy amount, especially while at work. How would you possibly, as a pre-kindergarten teacher, think that it's appropriate to just be posting all day on these platforms, and for that kind of content too? That's a fucking disgusting thought.
Who was he inspired by though?
Like, from like, all right, kids, nap time, go to
Like
sleep.
who inspired him
Perfect.
to like
Now I can
Kylie Cox?
make my 300th post today about spreading my chocolate starfish on this Reddit page, and then I gotta check my OnlyFans to see if anyone's requested me to do a little sounding. Like, that is lunacy. He mentions that he had a ton of free time at work here. I can't imagine there was that much free time to make hundreds, if not thousands, of posts on these platforms. Like, when
this
were
had
you
to be
ever
like a
even
Kylie Cox,
doing
like,
your
nah,
job
there's no
of
way.
teaching pre-kindergarten?
I did go to the bathroom a few times and snap a nude. A lot of the reason why I did that was because I was getting paid by people, and now when I said that, people thought I was getting paid by like I don't know if you could say this word, PDF files, you know what I'm trying to say. People thought I was catering to them, and now with some of those Reddit groups I was in, I should not have been in. They were definitely like dad, son, trans girls. I got kicked out of a lot of groups for like not even fitting the criteria, and it was definitely weird. But when you're in sex
Oh,
work,
you
I don't
definitely are
know.
the
I was
criteria,
just
buddy.
too blinded by the money that was coming
You are
in.
the
I know
criteria.
that's no excuse.
Here comes the cold water. It was pedophiles that were paying you to do those things. He keeps denying that, saying that it was, just people wanting to see him do it. It had nothing to do with the location or anything like that. But here comes the truth, like a fucking boxing glove
Wait,
out
how
of the
come
wall
the
to
preschool
sock you in
place
the
didn't
jaw.
know?
That is exactly who it was, and a lot of people were no doubt paying him because it was in a preschool and shit. He took photos in the fucking preschool classroom he taught at, too. They weren't bare butt
Oh,
cheek
hell no.
photos and nudes or anything, but he would take photos in his actual preschool classroom with his ass sticking out towards the camera. How are you going to say that you weren't selling these to pedophiles? They clearly knew you were in a child environment
Yo, ban this
doing
nigga, bro. Is
these
he banned?
sexual things.
So then fast forward to the day I took my first nude at work. I honestly don't
Nah,
remember
yo,
it.
I'm not gonna lie, but I'm just trying to figure out who inspired him. He kinda styles his hair like Kylie Cox, I'm not gonna lie. In that prime. I think it was Kylie Cox, I'm not gonna lie. Do y'all think it's Kylie Cox?
But I do remember that I would get paid like say $45 to take a picture. They'd say go take it, and I would. Now I never did any of this while clocked in. I wasn't allowed to have bathroom breaks like that unless it was an emergency, of course. So when I was in the bathroom, I was upstairs, classrooms were downstairs. I was far away from everyone in the teacher's bathroom that was locked. That's another thing people
were
are
so far
confused
away.
about because they see that the toilets had like little training seats on it, and there was 2 toilets in the bathroom, which was kind of weird. And I think like originally a long time ago, those were kids' bathrooms, and we would use them in an emergency, but for the most part, those were for the teachers.
Like a suitcase, there is a lot to unpack
Oh,
here
so
in
much
just this
better.
whole section, so let's start at chapter 1 here. He claims he never went dicko mode while on the clock at work. He said that when he took those nudes, it was when he was off the clock.
Wait,
Now
so
let's
no, I do now I'm starting to think like when they say when you're GAY, it's all environmental. Like, I'm not talking about this guy, but like, or if somebody in his class turns out GAY. Like, did this guy do something to him? Nah. No, I'm starting to think it might be my environmental. Like, I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna finish what I was about to say there, but it might be environmental. That's true. Like, this guy might have turned somebody GAY. I'm not gonna lie in that class. There's no way. How old is preschool? Like 3, 4?
flex our neurons here for a moment, activating 100% of our brain power for a little Jimmy Neutron blast. If you are off the clock, why would you not just go home and take those photos then? Why do them at that preschool?
Nah, facts.
My thought process is the reason he would take the photos there at that preschool is
He's
because
a
he knew that that's what people wanted from him. He likes to claim that they weren't pedophiles and he wasn't catering to these fucking freaks. Yet, if he was off the clock while doing this, why wouldn't he have just gone home if the location truly
I
didn't
think he was trying to be
matter?
creative.
Food for thought.
Was he trying to be
Moving on
creative?
to the next piece of this fucking gross puzzle. He says that the bathroom that he would take those nudes in or film the masturbating videos in was the teacher's restroom, which is far removed from the children's restroom. It's on, the upper level and it was locked so that way kids couldn't access it. This was the teacher's
Nah,
only
he
commode.
turned somebody, bro.
Yet,
There's no way.
he calls
Wait,
attention
over under
to the
like
fact
3
that
kids.
there
Like, did he
is
actually like?
a children's training toilet seat
Yo, they
on
should do a
there, as
test.
well
Like,
as another
I feel like
toilet, like a
3 kids
tiny
turn out like
toilet
GAY from that
for
class.
kids. And he even does mention that sometimes this still was used by kids in an emergency. He blows his wad, fucking dumps a load onto the children's toilet seat in this restroom. Even if he's telling the truth about it being not during work hours, off the clock, and it is separated from the other children's bathroom. This is still an incredibly fucked up thing to do, and it's very clearly in a restroom that does have child things in it.
I'm not excusing anything I did. There's definitely no excuse, but I do just want to say that it would have happened at that time, any job I worked at. If I was working at the movie theater, still would have happened there instead. It just so happened to be at the daycare, which makes everything so much more worse.
No excuses whatsoever, except for the excuse he's making right now. He's speaking about this like it was some kind of natural disaster, like an unavoidable calamity, like an asteroid hitting the Earth. He's talking like Thanos. This was inevitable. I was going to be stroking my shit till it shot yogurt ropes on a toilet seat for OnlyFans content. It was just a matter
Yo,
of
ban
when
this nigga, please, bro.
and where. Could have been a movie
Wait,
theater. Could have been your
wait, I'm
grandpappy's
saying like,
outhouse.
is he
But damn
charged
it,
yet with
it happened to be
what's that
this
thing called? What is
daycare
that
that I
called?
worked at.
Where they get
Like, what the
banned from
fuck,
like
man?
school areas, bro? Is he
The
banned yet? Or
audacity
no?
for him to
Just know he's
try
not.
and compare what he did at that daycare to it happening to him at a movie theater if he happened to work in a movie theater is a crazy leap. You were a preschool teacher. People were sending their kids to you under the assumption that you were going to educate them and those kids would be safe. And in that environment, you were making explicit content. You were making sexual posts. You were making
Who caught him though? Who caught him?
pornography in the fucking bathrooms, man. That is not even in the same.
What the fuck? I think it was like one of the students. No, not one of the students. Like the student's dad was probably like jerking and shit. And I was like, what the fuck? Isn't this my kid's son? Or not kid's son. He's going crazy. Like, I looked at the fucking phone. He's like, wait, this is literally my son's teacher. That's how he got caught? Ain't no way, bruh. But what is wrong with these guys, bruh? They need to get locked up, bro.
Ballpark is if
I
you
think
went
he need to get
into a
locked up. Why
movie
is he
theater
still on
bathroom
like?
and ejaculated on the toilet seat. It's also crazy that he's trying to say like it just so happened to be at that daycare. Goober, you chose that location. You made the conscious decision to film that content and take those photos at the daycare. It wasn't just some random chance where you happened to spawn in at the daycare and had to film it right then and there or else you would have fucking died or something. You made the choice to film it there. You could have just waited until you went home and did it at your house in privacy, as opposed to doing it at your job at a daycare where children go. Like, I don't know why he's trying to make it sound like, oh, it was just completely, like, it just happened to be there. He did that on purpose.
Post. There's no reason or excuse I shouldn't have waited till I got home. I guess I was just too focused on money, and at that time I hadn't started my social media career, or maybe I just started it, but I was really focused on the success I was getting on OnlyFans and all the money I was earning, and I
Wait,
used
so he's
that
actually
money
Jay
to
White, not
start
like
my
a Kylie
shopping
Cox
vlogs,
situation?
and that's how I got started on social media full time.
He finally mentions that he could have just went home and did it. He has no reason why he couldn't have just gone home and done it. However, I truly think that he knew what he was making and for whom he was making it for. That's what I believe.
Lock him up.
There is a reason why these fucking weirdos were requesting him to take these nudes and make this sexual content during his time at the preschool. They wanted him to be at that location for that content. And I really think that Micheal Duvall knew that and was probably concerned that if he tried to fulfill those requests outside of the daycare, he would lose their business. He would stop making as much money as he was currently making from them. Now, he does say that it was 4 or 5 posts that people had pointed out, and he has taken down since and is no longer earning any money off of them. But the fact he did this at all in any capacity, even one time, is still just inexcusable.
Being successful on social
Yo,
media.
wait,
Should I have
what do y'all
done
think?
it?
Like,
No, it was
like,
gross. It doesn't.
wait, what do y'all think? Like, he acted like when he found out that idea. Was he like in his room, like, yo, I should do this, and like a fucking like light bulb like appeared on his like.
Excuse anything, but at the same time, I hate when people call me names when I know it's not true, or people assume that I was doing stuff that I wasn't doing just because it was at a daycare. Where it was had nothing to do with what I was doing or what I was putting out or the people I was talking
Bro.
to. Those people did not know where I worked. Those people did not care where I work. I remember I did post in some of those groups before, like, I'm a teacher. I was trying to have that shock factor. I was trying to have that thing that makes me kind of different.
A broken record, he keeps harping on this point that the location didn't matter, but he immediately contradicts that by saying that he would even
Bro, who
advertise
the
that he's
hell
a
told him?
teacher to these clients as like a shock thing to stand out. So, wouldn't you think that since you have said you are a teacher and they are requesting and paying you to take these photos, that the location does matter? It's not like these people saw you were a teacher and then started paying you to take photos building a rocket ship with assless chaps on. They were asking you to take these photos at the daycare. Like, I really think it should be pretty clear that the location did matter to them. At least, that's what I think. I think that's pretty obvious. That's my opinion on it. I don't know why he's trying to deny that the location was like, a selling point to these people when he is actively saying that he would tell them that he is a teacher.
And I know my full story, I know the truth, but that does not excuse what I did at
Yo,
the
this goes hand in hand
preschool,
with
and that does not excuse.
the Diddy,
I
the Diddy,
also have
you know what I'm saying,
racist
the
tweets,
Diddy
which I
one. Yo,
know
this
if
guy
I
Diddy,
address
bro.
this, people will bring that up.
Now, this
Yo,
is
did
where
you
his
get Diddy, or
apology takes
is
a
he the
crazy
Diddy?
turn I haven't seen before. He is breaking
What's worse,
new
the
ground,
Diddy
a
argument? I mean,
pioneer
not
in
the
the
argument. The
apology
Diddy
meta.
apology or this?
While addressing the current subject, he then gives something else here that nobody was talking about until he brought it up. In the middle of this discussion, he then says, "Oh, also I have racist tweets. I have racist tweets as
Wait,
well."
how is it racist?
And it's like, whoa, wait,
how?
where did that come from?
Tweets from like 2014 where I said the most insane things. I said things about animals I shouldn't have said, like abusive, not sexual. And I said things about people, groups of people, black people, Asian people. I was very much unhinged and kind of wild as a kid, and I don't want to use the house I lived in as an excuse. There really is no excuse.
This tiny little section here comes in like a surprise post-credits scene. I don't know where this came from out of nowhere. He just brings this shit in out of left field about his racist tweets in the past. And like some things he said about animals in the past. Very odd.
I was also doing a lot of drugs, and I know I said I didn't want to bring up any excuses, but that's just partially.
So we're getting into the Kylie Cox situation again, okay? So do we give this guy the hand, like the? Are we gonna give him the edge because he just said it had to do with some, you know what I'm saying, wait, what type of drugs was it though? Yeah, wait, what type of drugs was Kylie Cox on? Like seriously. Like what type of drugs was Kylie Cox on? Like seriously. Are we gonna give him the edge because he was doing it too? Like he was doing the little, you know what I'm saying?
Why I don't really
Honestly, it just
remember
depends what
everything,
type.
and so seeing it come to light, it's almost like me seeing it for the first time because I've completely shut it out of my mind, blocked it out.
What?
Let's go, Flex.
So now you're saying you were doing a lot of drugs at the time, so you don't even remember a lot of these things? Little confused here on the plot.
Wait, did he
Were
do
you
drugs
doing
inside the preschool?
drugs while working as a pre-kindergarten teacher? Like you were showing up to work high, and because you had done so many drugs, it led you to think it was okay to make that content? Or are you saying you were doing so many drugs at the time that you did that content sober, but then the drugs blocked it out of your mind, like clouded it? I'm a little lost now on what this claim is about the drugs and not even remembering doing a lot of it.
To tell you the truth from my mouth, because I know hearing it from rumors, it can sound a lot worse than it was. I promise you, no kids were ever involved. What I did in that bathroom had nothing
we don't know.
to do about the building
I don't know if
was
we're gonna
in.
believe
I
you
know
on
I
that
let
one.
a lot of people down, and the people I let down the most
Yo,
is mothers
like
and
we need somebody from his city. Where city is this guy from? He looks like a guy from like I don't know, like Albuquerque or some shit. We need people to do real statistics on how many kids from that preschool turned out gay. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, they need to do it. I know. We need to find out if people are born or environmental. This will explain everything. This will be the deciding factor. Deadass.
people with kids and people who thought they could trust me and knew who I was. I just want to say I'm truly sorry. I never meant to make anyone question the type of person I was. I never meant to hurt anyone. I never meant to make those mistakes. And
kind of nuts to me how he says that it sounds a lot worse than it was. Buddy, it was that bad. Like, even all the things that he shed some light on only served to confirm everything that had come out about it. Like, he doesn't really, offer any kind of other explanation that makes it not as bad as people thought. It really is just as bad as people thought. The rest of the video, though, is spent with him saying that he's sorry to mothers and people that he let down with all of this, and he does keep mentioning that the building didn't matter, which, again, he contradicted himself earlier when he said that he advertised himself as, like, a teacher to these people. So I think it did matter. Like, they were requesting that. Like, I think it very much did matter. He doesn't want to admit it here, but I really do believe that he knew that it mattered. Anyway, though, the apology itself is still just not very good. It is a very interesting strategy to also throw in, like, the racist tweets out of nowhere that he decided to mention on his own accord. And even though he said multiple times that he's not making any excuses, he does then immediately try and make excuses throughout the apology. Overall,
Wait, was he
not
on
the
drugs during the
strongest
video?
apology. That's about it. So yeah.
Damn, bro.
I rich and understand my next 3 cars gonna be a lease. I ain't never losing sleep about no beef, I roll in peace.